Hi everyone, this is Tariro from 24/7 Virtual Assistant. Welcome to this webcast or webinar, this live broadcast where I'm going to be talking to you about why and how you can partner with a virtual assistant to give better or the best customer experience. Um, I am a virtual assistant with 24/7 Virtual Assistant, and I focus on making sure that my clients implement the best customer care strategies in their business online. I don't really focus on like walk-in clients for my customers, but I want to make sure that their customers eventually become walk-in clients. So my work mainly involves taking care of my clients' prospects and my clients' leads and my clients' on the online platform. That's on social media, on email, on their blog, and even on live chat on their website. That's what I do. You can find me on my website. My website is 247va.com. That's TWENTY47.va.com. And you can also find me on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Twitter. I'm not that active on Twitter though. And you can also find me on Google Plus, where I do this presentation. So, and on YouTube as well. So if you decide to look for me online, there are so many places you'll be able to find me. So let's get down to the business of the day. Um, I'm just going to switch on to my presentation, to my slides. And sorry about that. There we go. So I'm just going to I've just switched to my slides. If you cannot hear me or you cannot see anything, just let me know so that I just check if everything is going on well my end. But I want to believe that you can see what's in front of you and you can also hear me. So today we're gonna, first of all, I want to let you know that if you want to ask any questions, there's a Q&A section and you can ask questions via that Q&A session, via the Q&A platform on your left if you're in Google Hangouts. If you're watching via YouTube, you can just switch to Google Hangouts and submit your questions there, or you can wait for the Q&A section where I'm going to be opening up to answering your questions. And this presentation is going to last until 9, and we are going to be, I'm going to try to fit everything that I want to talk about with you today in the next, they are now 56 minutes. So I'm going to try to fit everything in the presentation that I'm going to be doing with you today. So what are we going to look at today? Today we are going to look at, we're going to be talking about the customer. Most of what we're going to be talking about is who your customer is, where your customer is hanging out, what your customer wants, and how to talk to your customer online. And then finally, we're going to talk about how you can work with your virtual assistant to help your customer. But before we do all that, we're going to talk about what a virtual assistant is, because I really don't want to put that after the presentation, after I'm done with talking about the customer. I just want to put that before so that we get that out of the way. Then I will talk about the rest of the stuff. So here we go. Now, what a virtual assistant is, I've read so many definitions about what a virtual assistant is, and I have tried to come up with my own, like There are so many definitions out there, but they all come down to the same thing. A virtual assistant is an independent contractor providing professional, administrative, technical, or creative solutions and assistance to businesses and individuals, usually remotely from a home office or rented workspace. Why I say usually remotely is because there are some virtual assistants who are working from their clients' offices. They're working from their clients' offices, but it's more like on a part-time basis. They're not part of the team. They're still self-employed. Virtual assistants are self-employed. Some will come as part of virtual assistant firms, but most of them will be independent. Virtual assistant industry is growing and it's serving different kinds of small businesses and even big businesses online. Virtual assistants are working with online business owners, people who have online shops, people who are into who need someone to do their bookkeeping for them. What they do is the people just keep the files and keep everything, and then at the end of the month, or probably at the end of a period specified or agreed with a virtual assistant, they'll then send their files to the virtual assistant to work on. Virtual assistants are also working in admin roles. Most of the virtual assistants you'll find were probably in admin positions when they worked in the corporate world. So you'll find most virtual assistants will tell you, I used to be a personal assistant, I used to be a secretary, I used to be an administrative assistant, and they've decided to move away from working for someone else, and they've decided to set up their own business and become virtual assistants who assist a number of small businesses or individuals. Virtual assistants also work as executive personal assistants to people. Like they will deal with everything that a personal assistant in a company would do for probably a CEO or a manager or some executive. They'll do all that, and then but they'll be doing it remotely, and they will not be working for just one person. So basically, that's what a virtual assistant is. It's estimated that the number of virtual assistants in the world, to be honest, the number is not definite, but it's just estimated that the number of virtual assistants in the world is probably up to 25,000. Why it's so hard to define, to specify the exact number or even just a general estimate, it's because there are some people who are doing virtual assistant work, who are working virtually, doing different kinds of things, but they don't necessarily call themselves virtual assistants. They probably call themselves freelancers, or they just call themselves consultants or accountants or administrative assistant, but they really don't call themselves virtual assistant because, well, for whatever reason, they don't. So the virtual assistant industry keeps growing. I am based in Zimbabwe. I work from Zimbabwe, and I've realized that this virtual assistance thing is not common in my country. I've been doing this for close to 2 years now, and it has been a challenge having to explain to people the advantages and disadvantages, or probably just to share with them the benefits of working with a virtual assistant. But you find that the industry is growing. You have more and more virtual assistants. The most virtual assistants you'll find in countries like the United States, the UK, India, the Philippines. You'll find so many virtual assistants from these places. So yeah, the virtual assistants keep growing as we have more and more small businesses sprouting from all over the place. It's an economical way of hiring compared to hiring someone full-time. If you're on a budget, or if you don't want someone working from your office, virtual assistants work from their own office, use their own equipment, use their own internet, and then you just have to assign work and define the kind of work that you want done for them. Those are some of the perks of working with a virtual assistant. But I'm not gonna delve into that. Some of the reasons that people decide to work with virtual assistants is stress. People get burnt out trying to do everything on their own. You know, when small businesses start, people are trying to do everything on their own, and they really don't have money to hire. And when you realize that you're going to get burnt out by trying to concentrate on every single aspect of your business, you're not going to be able to reach your fullest potential. So people decide, you know what, I'm going to seek help. And you can get a virtual assistant from anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world, you can get a virtual assistant. You can get a virtual assistant whilst you're in Zimbabwe. You can pick one from South Africa. You can pick one from Uganda. You can pick one from India if you want. I also outsource as a virtual assistant. There's work that I also outsource. So, and I feel like I've been liberated. I have time to do important things, and certain things, not that they are not important, but I can do with just delegating to someone else and having them do it. And then I'll just have to check the final product. And it actually has helped me work better. I've been delegating now for the past 5 months, and it has been working pretty well for me. Now, virtual assistants will help you. Some of the things they'll help you with your travel plans, with your bookkeeping, with your strategic planning for your business, with your social media, with your blog. They'll take care of your newsletter so that you can grow your business and achieve the big goals that you have. Big goals usually mean you want to grow your business. So that's what virtual assistants can do for you. Now, we move on to the main business of the day. That's enough about virtual assistants. I can go on and spend the whole day talking about them. So I'm not going to do that. Let's move on to the business of the day. Let's talk about who your customer is. It's important for you to be able to identify your internal and external customers. Or generally, you should be able to identify your customers. You should be able to know their characteristics. Where do they live? What do they like? What kind of clothes do they want to wear? Do they have children? Your kind of clients. Being able to define your clients helps you to direct your message to the right people and to the right audience. Now, think of it this way. You are selling some goodies. I just picked this example because I was thinking, cake. I like cake so much. So I just thought cake. When you're selling cake and you have a bakery, most of the people who are baking these days, particularly in my country, in Zimbabwe, they have an online presence. Either they have a website or they have a shop. And I recently saw an online ad where someone was actually, someone who bakes cakes was actually saying, they had these beautiful cakes on stand, and there were, those cartoon characters, the Minions, Ben 10 and the like. And then they were saying that, we know what your children want. We know what your children want. So if you get your cake done by us, we are going to give you the cake of your dreams. Now, why these people say this, like we know what your children want, is because they've realized that when they bake their cakes and they take them somewhere, it's the child that decides what they want, and the parents want to make the children happy. So the parents come back to the shop and say, I want a cake that looks like Ben 10, or a cake that's a Minion cake. And are you going to be wanting to, probably, some mothers don't know what Minions look like. Some mothers don't know what Ben 10 looks like. So it's up to you to know what the final customer wants and what the final customer expects. And in this case, the final customer is the child. What is the child wanting and what is the child expecting? you're supposed to, knock it out of the park, because the mother may not know that, oh, you didn't make a minion cake, you probably made, something that's so ugly, or that doesn't look like a minion. It's only the child, because it's the child who watches the cartoons and everything, and they see that and they put it in front of the children. So if this person wants to market their cake, they need to know, who is my customer? Where am I going to be taking my product? Like, where am I going to be directing my message? So it's obviously the children cannot read the 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 online adverts that we see, but they can see pictures, right? So it means your message has to be visual, so that you're not just writing things. You're actually showing people what you can do, and you're sending it to a message to the child. If the child just pips, they'll know that, oh, yeah, that's the kind of cake that I would want. And you're supposed to be able to identify who your customer is. The baker is supposed to be able to identify that, I'm supposed to make the child happy. And the person at the reception knows that, oh, the baker is going to make the child happy. I am going to make the mother happy by serving her well. It's like a chain, and there are different platforms where you meet up with customers before you actually sell your final product. You have your online shop, you have your physical shop, and you want to make sure that you identify who you are talking to. It's very important to identify the person that you're talking to, their characteristics, where they live, what they like, their interests, because identifying all those things will help you identify what they need, which is something we're going to look at later, like, what do your customers need? So it's important for you to identify who your customer is, and also identify whether your customer is a male or a female, or they're interested in football, they're interested in golf, or they're interested in fashion, because you're gonna want to take your message at these particular points where you will find your customer, and where you'll find your customer engaged, where you'll be able to engage with your customer. So I'll just give another example about I'll give an example in my own business. When I'm trying to identify who my customer is, I'm not saying when you identify your internal and your external customers, you move away from knowing from serving one and decide to prefer the other. Both of them are important, but you need to know the kind of services that are expected by your direct customer. Usually that's, yeah, you should be able to know the kind of services that are expected by your direct customer. Usually internal and external customer in my business, it means when my client hires me, they are my internal customer, because we are a team. We belong together. We are a team. We are working together, but I owe her service. I owe her service to serve her client, like her client, her direct client. I need to make sure that I serve her well, and consequently serve the person that she's serve well, the person that she's supposed to be giving service to. So that's another example. So I've got I'll give an example. I have a client, and they are into they are a speaker, they're a motivational speaker, and they're into training and the like. And then they have an online presence. So as they have an online presence, she is my internal client, I need to make sure I make her happy. How do I make her happy? I need to make sure I show up for meetings. I need to make sure I give her my plans on time, plans for our strategy for the following month, or our strategy for the current month, our meetings about whatever is going on online in this client's business. I need to make sure I show up for that client and I give them what they expect. Now, but as I do my work, as I serve my client, I'm talking to my clients, direct clients. I am talking to, for me, they're kind of external to me. They're no longer internal, they're external to me. But I'm talking to them directly, representing my client. So, well, that's how I see the whole internal, external customer thing, and direct customer and indirect customer thing. So you need to know who your customer is, what they like, where they stay, different kind of demographic information that will help you to target your message appropriately. Now, you need to know where your customer is hanging out. I don't care what kind of product you're selling. It could be an a physical product, probably clothes. You need to know, where is your client hanging out? Where do they like to go? Do they like hanging around at the mall? Do they like hanging around at the bar? Do they like reading papers? And when I say hanging out, I'm not just saying somewhere where they walk to. I'm talking about a place, things they like doing, sites they like to visit. That's what I'm talking about. So you need to know whether they like being on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube. And you need to know whether they like playing golf, because you want to check the kind of sites they like reading, the kind of news they like reading, because you want to direct your message to that area. I once had this client who put an ad in the newspaper. And then I'm sure when they put the ad, they didn't expect the ad to be in, they wanted the ad to be in a particular section of the newspaper. But they then found, because they do training and the like, but they then realized that their ad, actually, I was reading the paper. I was reading the paper, and then I realized that their ad was in the sports section of the paper. And I remember asking her that, oh, I saw the ad, but then it was in the sports section. Why did you do that though? And then I think she mentioned something like, oh, probably, I don't know whether it was an error or it was the spot that was left. But the response she gave me was, you know what? It only goes to show how much you need to direct your message appropriately and how you can target different people. Because she said that the only people who responded to that advert were men who were looking for sports in the sports section of the newspaper. So you need to know where your customer is hanging out so that you can direct your message appropriately. So sometimes you really need to sit down and strategize. Think about the kind of product or service that you're giving to the public. What kind of, remember we defined who our customer is. Now you need to know where they hang out. If it's on Facebook, what kind of groups do they like? What kind of pages do they like to visit? Because you need to look for them there. It's really, it can get daunting when you're starting out, but it's important for you to do it. You need to look for them, and you need to find out what the kind of things they like talking about. And in trying to figure out where your customer likes hanging out, you also are able to realize the kind of conversations and the kind of things that they're expecting from. I'm sorry, something just popped on my screen and I don't know what's going on. All right. I hope nothing is wrong. Okay. Now you need to know where your customer likes hanging out, the newspapers they like reading. And in where I come from, in Zim, in Harare particularly, we have this newspaper called H Metro. H Metro, I'm sure you can see it in the front, at the center there. Those are the main newspapers in Zimbabwe, and particularly the main newspapers that circulate in Harare. H Metro is like a gossip newspaper. So you find there are certain kinds of people who like to read about gossip, who like to read about juicy stories. So if your message is directed to people who like reading H Metro, or maybe you have a show or something about the kind of, you probably get to realize the kind of people who like reading H Metro, and you think, oh, I need to direct my message to these H Metro readers. I know they'll like it because they like gossip. So suppose you decide to have a gossip magazine. You have to put the ad in H Metro and tell them where they'll find it, where they'll find juicier news, right? You really can't put your gossip magazine advert in the Financial Gazette and expect to get responses, because the Financial Gazette is being read by very serious businessmen who really do not have time for following what the gossip columns are saying. I'm just giving an example, guys. Anyway, that's enough about that. And also, you need to I'm going to hone in on knowing where your customers are hanging out online. We have social networks like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn. We have business blogs, and I've recently started using and featuring on some broadcasting platforms like Blab and Periscope. If you don't know about Blab and Periscope, just go on and Google it. It's blab.im, and then Periscope is an app. Blab doesn't have an Android app, so I'm accessing it online. But what I'm saying is, people who want to share their message with the world are going onto these platforms and are sharing their message like visually. You have voice, you've got audio, and they're actually doing great things on these platforms. So they're able to they're managing to attract audiences who are looking for their people. Because I go on platforms like Blab, I go on business blogs, I go there to look for valuable information to me, and I look for valuable presentations. And then these people are going to these platforms, and they're actually able to increase their audience and increase the amount of people who are getting to know more about their business. So it's important that you know where your customer likes hanging out. Otherwise, you're going to be broadcasting your message without intention, and you're going to be broadcasting your message to people who are not even caring to listen to you. So you don't want to waste advertising money and promoting products on platforms that are not going to help you. So you need to make sure that you understand where your customer hangs out, and it takes research. It really takes research, and it takes some time, and you need to be patient. But trust me, once you invest in doing that, you're going to figure it out, and you're going to be directing your message appropriately. I've learned it the hard way, but I'm happy with the results that I'm getting. And I would like to encourage you to also consider doing it for yourself. Define your customer and figure out where your customer wants to hang out. Sometimes you don't want to admit who our customer is. We want our customer to be everyone because we want everyone's money. But you need to identify who your customer really is. Who is the exact person that you're targeting? Because you really need to have your message targeted to that specific person. So now we go to what your customer wants. Now, what your customer wants is determined by who your customer is. Remember, we talked about the demographics, the interests, whether your customer is a male or female. What does your customer want from you? Do they want to be informed? There are customers who come to our social media pages looking for information. Probably you share a good message and people want to participate in that message, and they want to know more. I've seen this on motivational speaker pages where people participate and they are enlightened by what a person is saying. So if your customers want to know more about the kind of things you do, then you may need to focus on you may need to focus on providing that information. You need to educate them. You don't want to be marketing your product every day. You need to educate them and let them know the information that they are looking for. So customers are looking to be informed. They need to have their brain stimulated with the kind of information that's coming from you. They're looking for new information. So are you going to give that to them? And then I'll give an example of people who I've come across situations where I'm looking for certain kinds of information, and maybe I'll give an example of. I remember when I wanted to register my company, which is like 2 years ago. I really didn't know how to go about it, and I was looking for someone who would help me, possibly responsible authority, the title did the deeds and companies people, but I couldn't find them. And I actually found the person I ended up using to register my company. I found them online. They share information about how to register a company in Zimbabwe. And the information he shared with me made me want to work with him. And the only reason I ended up working with him is because he gave me like an informed position online. And imagine if only like the government authority would do the same thing, would just go directly to them. But oh well, we can't really control that, can we? Sometimes we can't, but we would really want it to be like that. But this is just an example of how this person is using information and knowledge to educate other people, but at the same time attract people to him. So that's just an example. Now, another thing is your customer wants to have questions answered. How are you going to answer your customers' questions online? Most people want to wait to be asked. They want us to ask them, how much is this? How much is that? How do you do this? How do you do that? I appreciate pages with FAQ, websites with FAQ. I like them because they let me know a lot of information before I even get in, because I don't want to sound somewhat stupid, like you didn't know this, because that's how some of the people in these businesses of ours make us feel. So I like pages with FAQs, and at least it actually saves the business time. It gives the business their target audience a more informed position about the company and how they operate. So you need to find out what your customers want from you in terms of the questions they ask. If you're always being asked questions, then you need to be able to address that need that the customer has. So put a FAQ page or put an FAQ poster on your social media, but try to make this available so that it's not hard to find. Give your customer what they want. And sometimes you may not know what they want until they ask. When you find questions coming over and over and over again, that's an opportunity for you to create an FAQ. So create a frequently asked questions sheet and answer that question and put it up. I have a client who did a magnificent job with it. What we were working together, and they were just starting, and they were getting so many questions about the industry they were getting into and the products and services they were going to be providing. And we talked about, why don't we do an FAQ? We gather questions. We just talk to people about your product or service, and then we put the questions together, and then we can answer the questions, and then we have them online. And she did that, and then things just you inform people. You give people a more informed position, and you actually reduce the number of inquiries that you get, especially if you have a very busy page, or if you have a very busy lifestyle. You want to make sure that you at least know the kind of questions that most of your clients ask. So you need to answer questions. You need to know whether your audience wants to ask questions. Now, customers also come to us online to buy. Some people don't believe this, but it's true. A customer comes, their customers online who are ready to buy. I know I've been on sites where I'm ready, I'm good to go. All I want is to click the button and just buy something. But have you ever realized there are businesses that make it so difficult for us to do that? Recently, I was on this page. I don't remember if it was a page or a group where someone advertised something. I think it was a group. There's so many groups in my country, and people are always advertising. It's quite interesting. This group, someone advertised something. I think it was, I don't know. I'll just say maybe it was a cup, a set of cups, beautiful cups. Beautiful product. You wouldn't say no to them. And then this person says, this and the price of this product was pretty low, to the point that someone would look at it and be like, they'll be ready to buy. The price of this product was pretty low. No, they didn't put the price. Sorry, they didn't put the price, but the product looked really good. And then this person says, how I'm selling this, and it's a really useful product. I don't remember whether it was a solar product or what, but it was a really useful product. And then they said, for more information, inbox. I was like, so do you really want us to buy, or you really do not want us to buy? Because if you really wanted us to buy, you would just give us all the information. In any case, if someone doesn't like your price, whether you've written it in the inbox or not, you need to, they're not going to buy if they don't want to. If they want to buy, they're going to buy. So why not save yourself the trouble and tell everyone how much this product is? And this person responded, oh, by the way, I didn't say that to them. I was just thinking it. But someone then said, how much? And then they say that. And then someone says, how do we buy for you when you don't even respond to us? Like, tell us how much this product is. And this person was saying that, oh, I don't want to when you say a price, other people will start stomping you down. And I'm thinking, well, that's social media these days. If people don't like your price, some people just feel obliged to want to say something, and you really don't need to put that to mind. You really don't need to put that to your head that, oh, this person doesn't like my product. I mean, there is going to be someone who will like your product. There's going to be someone who will need your product. Stop being negative and stop thinking about the person who will probably judge you or pass a judgmental comment towards you because you put a price of your product. Why would you want to do that? You're limiting yourself, you see. Put all the information out there. I would say, unless there are better reasons, unless you've got customized products or services. For example, I have customized, I have standard packages, but I also have customized services where you have to give me your request, then I have to charge you. Then if that's the case, I would understand. But if it's just a product, I mean, if they're just earrings that you're selling, I want to know how much they are because I want to place an order for 10. So these are some of the things where, people don't realize that there's some people who are ready to buy. There's some people who are looking for that very thing, but you are infuriating them with having them, giving them more instructions to do more. It's bad enough that someone has given you time to comment on your post and to pay attention to it. It's hard to get attention on social media these days. But, someone would then say, oh, go to my inbox and then let me know that you want to know how much this product is. Oh, that doesn't work. I think if you're doing that in your business, you need to kind of change. You need to consider changing. So customers want to buy, and you need to be ready for customers who want to buy, you know? So you just need to be ready. I've got this client of mine, she makes it clear on her website, puts all the information. We'll be dealing with people who probably don't want to read the information, but at least all the information is there. And we know that somewhere, somehow, there is someone who is reading all that information. And then there are some who really don't have time for whatever reason. They feel better to just ask. Like they just want you to tell them. So you should be ready to address all the people. Customers are different, and you need to be able to address all these kinds of customers. You need to be able to address the young, you need to be able to address the middle-aged, and you need to be ready to address the old, because we have all kinds of people on social media these days and doing online and being on blogs. So that's about those customers who want to buy. And then customers want to be entertained. Oh, customers want to be entertained online. I mean, if I'm going to stay on your page for more than 10 seconds, you need to entertain me in the probably first line or two. I don't want to look for the fun in your email or in your blog posts and the like. It's something I struggle with when I'm writing my blog posts sometimes, but I've just decided that, you know what, I'm going to be myself. And someone, somewhere, will probably enjoy my articles. You cannot make everyone happy, but generally, I want you to know that your customers are looking at being entertained. They're looking at being entertained, and you need to be ready to give them that, make them happy. I've got this page that I follow, this lady who does makeup. I mean, she does makeup so well. She made me want to put makeup at some point in my life. And she every once in a while, after she's done makeup, she puts a before and an after pic. Just a before and an after. She does not even sell her services. So I'm thinking, look at the kind of service that she's providing. She's putting makeup on people, and people really don't want to know how much it is. Most of the people want to know how good she is, and that's what she's been doing. She just puts a before and an after, and it gets people so engaged. It gets people talking. I'm sure this is her goal, and even in that talking and everything, that's when she then is able to get clients. So it's important that you identify for the kind of services that you have, that you're providing. It's important that you identify what your customer wants. I'll give an example. For my business, I've been on a journey where I've been trying to discover, what does my ideal customer want? The customer that I'm trying to target, what do they want? And I've realized that they want information. Some of them, they actually want to learn how to do certain things on their own. And okay, I know some people will be against this, but sometimes you have to give up the selfishness. I mean, you need to share information. You need to come from a point where you're informed, you're not afraid to put yourself out there. To be honest, I've realized that when you do this, it makes you, it improves on your skills. It makes you a better service provider when you decide to do that. And I'm on the journey to doing that. I am not like entirely there yet, but I'm on the journey to doing that, to sharing more. It's my passion, actually, sharing more information with people. And I like teaching people how to do things, even when I'm not being paid for it. I like doing that. I like showing people how they can go about putting something on their website. How can they fix a certain issue? How they can start using a graphic design program. As much as I'm not good at it, I'll teach you as much as I know. So that's what I like doing. And you need to know what your customer wants. And once you know what your customer wants, you're able to give that to them. And sometimes the only way for you to find out what your customer wants is by talking to them. Talk to them. Don't ignore the people who are getting in touch with you on social media and just be expecting. There are people who are expecting they just want people who want to buy. They don't want people who want to be informed. They don't want people who want to be entertained. They don't want people who have questions. They just want people who want to buy. They feel like these other people are wasting their time and they don't have time for it. Let me tell you something. The people who want to be informed, who want to be entertained, who want their questions answered are the people who really are interested in your product. I mean, someone just doesn't come and, they say, I would want to know more about this particular product that you offer. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having this? Tell me more about this. Those people, you need to put them in an informed position where they don't spread bad word about you, where they come to buy from you from an informed position. So you really need to think about it. You need to think about what your customer wants. You need to discover what your customer wants. It takes research. It takes commitment to that research. And then you need to find out how you can address the needs of your customer, Yeah, so that's that on, what does your customer want? We move on to how you talk to your customer online. Oh, this is this is the most interesting topic. When I work online and I see the way some pages just deal with issues online, I just cringe because I cannot believe the way they're treating the people who are taking time to get in touch with them, to talk to them. I cannot believe it. So we need to talk about, how you talk to your customers online. I put a robot here because have you ever been on a page where you get in touch, you actually say, oh, I like your product and I would want to know how much this product is. Do you deliver to the United Kingdom? And I would want to know, do you do personalized t-shirts? Do you do personalized products? Something along those lines. And then I put regards or kind regards, Tariro, at the bottom. I put my name. And then they reply and say, dear sir. I remember when I was buying my car, this happened to me so many times. And I remember the first time it happened, I was like, okay, maybe they didn't realize that I'm a lady and I need to put miss on my salutation, like at the bottom when I sign off. I need to put miss. But they always used to reply, sir, Mr. And I'll be thinking, oh dear, I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Can't you at least pay attention to that? I had sent these people my passport because when you're getting they want some identification when you're getting your car from when you're exporting. They wanted some identification. I'd sent them my passport. It clearly says that I'm a female, and they have nerve to call me sir or Mr. I was really, ugh. So how do you talk to your clients online? Do you talk to your clients online like you're a robot? The people who talk to their clients like they're robots online. They just have, a specific. I'm not saying it's bad to have a specific set of responses already prepared to get to your clients. But sometimes you need to figure out that specific set of responses is it fit for what the customer is looking for? Is it addressing the questions the customer has asked? Because you do not want to frustrate the customer by just giving them some cookie cut responses and then expect them to get back to you. You need to personalize the message. If it's an email, personalize it. Make sure you understand their problem. Make sure you understand where they're coming from. Make sure you understand where they are, like where are they located. Are they in London? Are they in Zimbabwe? Especially when you're running your business online. I've realized that I've made this mistake myself of assuming that I'm talking to someone and they're in Harare when they're actually out of town, of assuming that I'm talking to someone in Zimbabwe when they're actually in Europe. It's not good. It doesn't it doesn't sit down well with the client. They might not say it, but a client feels extra special when you actually pay attention to where they came from, what their problem is, what the situation is in their country, like where they're coming from. So it's really important for you to pay attention to that. I'll go to another issue of ratings. Have you ever seen on some pages? I'll go on Facebook. I manage a lot of Facebook pages. That's why I give so many examples on Facebook. You go to a page and there are reviews. The reviews are showing that you've got 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star reviews, and you're not you find that the customer, the service provider, or the person selling the product, or the seller, is only responding to the 5 star or 4 star reviews. They're only responding to the reviews that have someone say something nice about them. They'll go like, "Oh, thank you, that's why we're in this, thank you." I mean, if you're gonna do justice to your customers, you need to be there in the good and in the bad times. So you need to be able to talk to your customers in the good times and in the bad times. So when you get the 1 star review that's really bad, be sure to address it, because that person means business. You don't want them to be posting that 1 star review again, do you? You don't. So you need to respond to those kinds of reviews. Same goes for posts. People post on company pages. I remember there was this issue about Dairy Board. Dairy Board is a dairy producer in Zimbabwe. It's like we grew up and there was Dairy Board only. There's some sprouting up now, but Dairy Board is the main one. So Dairy Board had an issue. I'm sure most of the people know it, about with their drink. I like their drink, call it my hill. There's an issue with their drink where something was found in their drink. And people started complaining and posting things on their page. Like, people wanted answers about this. Sorry, I just need to sip on some water. Yeah, that's good. So people wanted to find out more about, their page and what about that problem. But did Dairy Board address that issue? No, they didn't. They just put a press release, one-sided comment, and they did not even respond to the comments that were coming through from people. Oh my word. I was like, oh, you got nerve. I like you, but you got nerve. They've got nerve. I was really shocked. And people really reacted also terribly to it, because they felt that these are people who just want us to listen to them, but they don't want to listen to us. So as you are doing your stuff online, are you listening to your customers? Are you talking to them, giving them the impression that you're listening to them, or you are dictating things to them and talking to them, saying that, oh, I don't care what you have to say. This is what I'm doing. I don't care what you have to say. For me, to be honest, my clients' opinions are very important to me, and those are the points I use to improve on my services. Those are the points I use to improve on what I do. So I always encourage my clients, I always try to encourage them to improve, to actually focus on listening to what customers are saying about them online, and pay attention to reviews, good or bad, to questions. They should answer them all, and to personalization in emails, and they should attempt to give real-time responses. If you're doing your business online, people are expecting a response in a jiffy. Don't give a response after 48 hours or after 24 hours. Give a response within a short period of time, at least within 12 hours. Or particularly if it's online, they're expecting a response much sooner. So you need to make sure you give your clients that. So these are some of the things, and some of you communicate with your clients via newsletters, and you have people responding. I subscribe to certain newsletters. I don't subscribe to a lot, but there's specific ones that I subscribe to. And when I find an article that talks to me, I respond to them and I say something, and they always these people always respond back. And I know that these people have like 100,000 subscribers on their email list, but they took time to respond to my email. It really means a lot to me, and it means that I'll never stop following them because they pay attention to me. Are you paying attention to people who are talking to you online? You need to, if you're not. Then that brings us to how you can work. Having looked at all of this, how can you work with your virtual assistant to help your customer, to give your customer the best experiences online? How do you work with them? Now, there's so many things we talked about. We talked about online stuff. We talked about websites. We talked about channels. We talked about LinkedIn. You need to know that as long as you have your virtual assistant and they're available online, they can do so many things for you online. They can do so many things for you on social media. I'm going to do another hangout where we specifically talk about what a virtual assistant can do for you on social media, not just general stuff about a customer and the like, but what a virtual assistant can do for you online. But I want you to understand that all the research that we were talking about, identifying who your customer is, where your customer hangs out, what your customer wants, what your customers need, and how your customer wants to be talked to online, identifying all that, it means that it's a lot of work for you, particularly if you're in an industry where you are kept busy and you're not sure whether you need to be concentrating on researching on the customer, and you're alone, you're working alone, and you need some help. A virtual assistant can really turn things around for you. And it's better to work in a team and get a perspective of another person than to try to do it all alone. Even I, as much as I'm an independent virtual assistant, I seriously don't work independently. I have got other people who help me with different kinds of things that I subcontract to, other people that I talk to about some strategies. You need to have your virtual assistant and talk to them about the plans you have on how you want to grow your business online, on the kind of service you want to provide to your clients online, and the kind of email communication you want to establish with your clients online. Social interactions, posts, comments, reviews, messages. You really don't have to be tracking them as you're a business owner if you're busy. Because the moment you try to do that, you're now spending almost 21 hours a week. It was researched that the average small business owner spends about 21 hours a week on Twitter. Twitter alone, imagine. So you can imagine if you can give up all that time, all that planning to your virtual assistant, how much they'll help you. They'll respond to your posts. You can discuss. Some of you might ask, how would the person know what I like, how I want a response to be? You can discuss. And with time, a virtual assistant will actually know. There are clients that I work with who I know how they would have responded to something because we've worked so long together. I know the kind of response they would be giving. So you should be able to establish that kind of relationship with your virtual assistant where they can respond to your posts, they can respond to comments, they can respond to reviews, they can respond to inbox messages. There's nothing as frustrating as having inbox messages that go unanswered. I mean, so why are you online? The whole purpose of being online is to be able to interact with your customers or your potential clients so much easier. So you need to think about this. if you have a live chat, there's some websites that have live chat. You know, when you have like a chat feature on your website, are you going to be able, as you are running a business, are you going to be able to talk to your live chat visitors